I'm talking. Where you at?
We're here.
Yeah.
And it's 5:31. Somebody's really on time because we already got a comment demanding that we get on.
That's how excited people get for this show. It's just that good.
Yes. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on
tonight. You might win a prize tonight. So if you're watching, keep watching.
That's right.
This thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That thing.
not
Yeah, you win a robot.
Yeah.
I didn't upload the thing, but we're giving away stuff tonight.
You didn't upload the thing?
No, but I uploaded something, but not the right part. But the good news is we are giving something away. How is yet to be determined because that's how organized we are. We have.
No, I like the one about people make.
We have Pete turning into a ball, but
I'm still good. I want to show people what they could win.
Yes, thank you. Someone do that.
Yes. So someone's going to win something, and it might be you.
Yeah. And listen, if we don't know how we're going to do it, it was proposed. I don't know if it's going to be this way, but if it is, from making comments. So people making comments or asking questions is, I think, one of the possible ways you could enter.
I said you can just comment with a smiley face just so your name will appear on the board.
Yeah.
The way I recommend we do it is we have a random number and we just count down. Okay, the number's 40. We'll count down to the 40th commenter. It's Bill or whoever. And as long as he's in the USA, then great.
Okay.
Or Canada.
We'll do that.
Canada.
I'm not going to count the comments. That's Pete's job because he offered to count. So, Joe, you don't win. But we have some exciting news. We got a little fancy today. We got a video intro. And today's episode is brought to you by, ta-da, Proline. I use my mouse pointer like you guys can see my freaking screen. That's really smart. But Proline's giving away a prize pack. It's not an actual full slash. You're getting a slash tire set and the new black something called
Flowtech.
What is it?
Flowtech.
Flowtech. The black Lexan solid black, so you don't have to paint it. I think it comes with some fluorescent stickers, probably blue like the Proline thing.
They're tough on our body, so it's not clear. It's molded in black, comes with decals, so you can make it look just like the image that we showed you.
Yes, on his phone, because I wasn't smart enough to upload the right one. But hey, it's a technology. We also got some tips. Apparently,
photocopying your monitor.
Everybody is getting tired of my big face. So therefore, we're going to mix it up in random things so my face isn't the biggest. I know some of you will miss it. Therefore, I will go big. And then I will also go back. So those are the production details that we've been working on in the last 3 minutes because that's really how we work on the show. It's pretty good. We're pretty organized.
We don't answer questions on this show, but Gary, scissors. That's one of the comments. It was a good question.
There's no way I would not paint the big face button red on my keyboard and label it big face. I would have to have that for sure.
All right. Am I red? That red on my thing?
No, I would just want a big red button with a big face on it. So I could be like, big face.
All right. We got some topics tonight, and it always goes into a different direction. So first things first, anything pop up in RC that somebody wants to talk about that's like, hey, this happened in the last week. I think people are starting to race again. Not really trying to make this a COVID, I'm stuck in my room broadcast, but OCRC in Huntington Beach is now socially distanced racing. I don't know how that's going to happen, but whatever. So they're limiting it to 40 people, and then I don't know what's going to happen. But that means you get to go back to tracks. That's something nice, I guess, for a lot of people.
You know what? Just drive from your marshalling position. Kills two birds with one stone.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Old school style.
But driving ground level is terrible if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
There is something new in the hobby. Triple X Main has a new camouflage paint mask.
Which will be new every week and for about
xxxmain.com. I'm not going to be here next week, so I just wanted to remind everyone, xxxmain.com.
He was going to release the just one single stripe mask where it's just one, like a racing stripe. Do you have that yet?
I had a pinstripe mask at one time.
It was just all straight line mask. It was groundbreaking.
It wasn't one. It failed miserably. Yeah, right.
All right. What topic?
New. We've got new colors. We have new colors for Traxxas Spartan. We got some J contest bell cranks, some batteries. No biggies coming out recently.
The
Another came
DR10,
out.
which was released right before the world froze, is actually available, which is see people posting pictures of that, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's the latest.
Like cars. I mean, our new issues coming out. We have the review of the Kaiju and the Wendigo, two worst best names in RC. That's a good topic that we haven't discussed. Is would you name your RC car a name, or would you call it letter number jumble?
Both.
You would call it letter number jumble, Jeff?
Yeah. Well, I would. I'd probably name it and then put letter numbers after for different versions. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I like names too.
You can have the Blaster or the Blaster XR20.
There you go. Brilliant. Not Blaster though. That's terrible. But
not like I'll pick on Durango because it's gone. Then they name all their cars DEX or whatever the hell.
Yeah, but it gets tiresome eventually. They all mean something too. Like, but
what does it mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to speak specifically to a specific car, but I think when they did it, they had DESC, something like probably the E is probably electric, SE short course, D. I don't know what the letters mean, but I think they all meant something.
But I think I like names. I get race cars having numbers, especially because they're race cars. But I think names are good. I think it helps with consumers. Like if you go to the Tekin website on your phone, fantastic speed controls and motors. But when you try to shop there, it's like every product is an RX10, an RX20, an XR50. If you're new, like I'm in the hobby, I'm gonna go. I've learned that I can buy a different speed control to upgrade my ready to run. I'm gonna get a Tekin one. That's hard to process compared to like remember when Novak had the Rooster.
Yeah, the Rooster. I was just thinking of the Rooster when you said that. That's awesome.
Now, would a giant Rooster be an entry level one or like?
Well, Rooster was an entry level one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You like the Rooster, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the name. I thought a Rooster when Pete started talking. Yeah.
The Rooster.
But all the race speed controls had numbers. It was a hybrid, right? All the race speed controls had numbers. 410 MC and T4 and all that. So they did both.
I like names. I like cars with names, and I'm just picking on Red Cat because the two they released are the Kaiju, which means anybody.
If you're into monsters, Godzilla and Gamera are all Kaiju. That's a genre of Japanese with a rubber monster movie. And a Wendigo, if you know your Native American culture, is a Native American furry monster. It's also a comic book character. So those could be either cool or awful depending on if you know what they are. But if you don't know what they are, just going by sound, you're like, how do I pronounce it? And what is it? Yeah,
it was a spell check nightmare. And then when I looked it up, I get it. So, I mean, it's just regional things that don't translate super well. But when you look at what they are, okay, it's a badass name, except you have to say them.
Yeah. Or try to spell them. Manufacturers' names are tough because every name is copyrighted by somebody or trademarked. Right. Like, oh, crap, that's a Kawasaki ATV. Like, oh, damn it, it's a toothbrush. It's hard to get a name that's truly unique that you can use.
And we know the legend of Offna, of how that name came, right?
Well, not everyone knows the legend of that. We do. We're in the industry. Is that even true?
It was never not true.
Well, okay. I never tell it as a true story. I tell the story often, but I don't ever tell it as a true story.
Because I don't know. Dave Morales, the owner, would say it stands for only effing name available. That doesn't make it true. It's just a funny thing he like to say. But
did Dave actually say that himself?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Yeah.
But I don't know if it was just made up afterwards or.
That's what I wasn't sure of. Yeah.
Because that name
tell the story quickly.
From his baby company where he made baby mud flaps or whatever guards for your table. It was Offna Baby.
But the complete story is apparently he tried to register a whole bunch of company names and they kept coming back. It's taken, and then at the end he said, "OF not again," and that was the acronym that became Offna. Apparently, is that did I say that right?
That's the Canadian version. Only F and name available.
Oh, okay, right. I think I paraphrasing.
No matter what the apocryphal story works, that it stands for him having trouble finding a name as opposed to anything remotely cool. But that's fine. And as we know, Offna, a juggernaut today.
Yeah. Was very proud of its advertising campaign and then no advertising.
Listen, for someone that never really made it, who never made anything, that was a successful company.
My favorite Offna
a little bit to make it own design stuff. That's when Jammin came around. They did.
There's also Hung Nor and Hobao, is my understanding. Everything was Hung Nor and Hobao.
They
help. Hung Nor and Hobao will listen to you if you're buying a product and if you want to make a change.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, right.
I mean, it started with terrible things that broke and
and ended with
yeah, everything broke. But and then it eventually became pretty decent. And especially when their later stuff where it was the Hyper 7 and Jammin, when they took over, helped Jammin do all their cars and all that stuff. Jammin was self-designed-ish, I think, and I mean that was technically OFNA too. So
yeah, I think the whole valve stuff was definitely better.
All right, we're gonna jump into one of our pre-fixie topics here, and I'm gonna change the screen around just to, go a little crazy. Well,
yes, that was a recommendation from a good friend of mine. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go, good friend. It was all for you.
No, I'm the star.
So
but now our heads are getting cut off by sponsors.
Damn, sponsors, all the sponsors. See, that's why nobody likes ads.
I formatted the skin for the big face.
Yes. It's all around my
diffuser blew off, which is a paper towel.
Okay, awkward pause done. Electronic driving aids. This is one of our topics that came up. And this actually comes up a lot because more and more cars have them or don't have them. And I'll share my experience with not having them recently. Kind of why this topic came up.
ABC, of course, they're the first Traxxas STSM, and Team Associated, I don't know what they call theirs, but they have it as well.
They have it. Spectrum, did you say Spectrum? I don't hear you. They were kind of the first ones in the low C.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the I did the review of this Spectrum system, I don't know, whenever it came out, years ago.
Yeah.
I drove whatever buggy it was in. I would have researched this. They put it in a two-wheel drive buggy.
It's a Losi two-wheel drive. That Losi two-wheel drive buggy that was very difficult to drive because it was overpowered.
It was drive. The Vitara Helix. They had a Vitara rally car, and there was another model that it debuted in.
Yeah, it was the off-road buggy-looking one. But the quote was, and when I did this, because I did a test at Revelation in a two-wheel drive 3S buggy with tires that were kind of like on-road / off-road with no grip. And I couldn't get around the track without the system on. Adam Drake had a very difficult time, and we tested with some other people. And the engineer at the time told me this. This technology is going to allow us to come out with cars that nobody could drive without. And that, at the time, rung in my head like, well, that's a weird statement. But as time has gone on, I've experienced cars where I think them having this electronic aid has taken away from chassis setup, which I'll get back to, because you shouldn't have an undrivable car out of the box or ready to run. I mean, we've experienced this a lot of times with the race cars that have. I mean, if I go back to my, I think B2 days where that car came out, it was the setup out of the box was like 4-1 track, and if you used it, it didn't work anywhere else. So stuff out of the box isn't as good as it can because they don't have to test it. They can just say, just turn the dial up, and then your driver skill goes up. And one of the things that was very clear when I drove this car, because Adam had the Pro version, which is even better than the RTR one that nobody talks about much anymore. And there was a lot of controversy about drivers using this before it was really known it was there, right? I was driving his car, and you can tune it, fine-tune a lot of things. And there was a rut in the track when I was driving it that with it off, every time I went around, would toss my car. So if it was right in the middle of the line, I'm stupid, I don't know how to adjust my line, but it was right in the line, and you'd hit it, and the back end would donkey flip up, and you'd have to correct. When I turned it on, the car did not react to that bump. So how amazing that system is really something that has come up, because in pro racing, despite them saying that a really good driver is better than a gyro, that is 100% not true at all. No. As good as the driver is, you're still looking at something and reacting, and whatever your brain calculation is to see something, you still have that. It's in the car reacting at the speed of light.
You can't react faster than an electron. No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. What about if I change this? Is that faster?
I don't know.
Theoretically, if the car is 100% grip, the gyro doesn't do anything. It's only when you've got a slip angle involved.
Yeah, but there's never 100% grip. There's always.
No, I'm not saying grip. I'm saying, but the difference for you or I having fun playing with a Traxxas Max or an X Max, for example, on 8S or the Max on 6S, and being able to use that maximum power potential by turning up TSM because the Traxxas or ABC if it were a Horizon model. That's a lot different than someone using it, professionally or on a racetrack or any kind of higher level of racing. That the two-wheel drive mod buggy class with all the fast guys on a Sunday at your local track versus the guys in the beginner class or whatever is the facsimile of a beginner class using that stuff, because it makes it easier, more fun to drive. So you can enjoy your vehicle more, and it's just a better experience, and you break less stuff. Yeah, I'm all for it. I have no problem with electronic driving aids. Should they be in race cars? Well, that's a different topic. But I enjoy driving with them, and I think that's a big plus for people. And I wonder if that Losey engineer wasn't saying, we can make cars that people can't drive, meaning they can have insane amounts of power, but people can drive it instead of just
it's not that they don't want to put the engineering in.
Yeah. Because that's why I never really enjoyed driving a full-on Traxxas e-Revo on 6S until they had the TSM. So it was just too wango tango, just so much power. You couldn't just kind of squirt around a small dirt area with that. It was less fun. You want to turn your throttle down just because you couldn't even use it all. It was great for a wide open area, but with the TSM, or again if you have a Horizon model, the ABC or whatever Team Associated calls theirs, when you can dial that in and you just feel like you're a great driver, you don't really feel it cutting in because you didn't turn it up too much. I think that's great for the hobby and it helps people have more fun.
Yeah, from a bash or a drag or a speed run drift conversation, it's amazing. It's an amazing technology. Should be embraced, and it's going to get even better and better over time. From a race standpoint, I don't think anyone. I mean, Derek likes reverse, but I don't think anyone thinks that it should be in racing. And if they do, which Derek may, then I'll have put my arguments forward there. But I'll start with my arguments. It's cheating. It's cheating, and it offers a huge advantage. And then when you get a tool that offers a huge advantage, it forces everyone to buy it. So I'll tell a quick story that's a little bit analogous to this. When the B4 was the only associated car and carpet racing was getting big, we were all running B4s on the carpet. And me and a bunch of my friends at the local level were relatively fast. There's 4 or 5 of us that are always in the A main week after week. And then the Losey 22 came out with the mid motor, which was a huge advantage on the carpet with the high grip to keep the front end down. And all the B main drivers all of a sudden got into the A main. All the A main drivers were all of a sudden into B main. And then eventually everyone got that new car. And then all the A main drivers that ended up in the B ended up in the A again. All the B guys ended up in the A, ended up in the. It was all the same order. Everyone was in the same place. And we had just bought a new car. Now that technology advancement is good. I'm glad that new car came. We all that should have happened. But in the gyro conversation, as soon as one person has it, whether they're an A main, B main, C main, D main, no matter where they are in racing, as soon as one person has it, it's a huge advantage, and it's going to force everyone to get it. The entire race order will be exactly the way it was before, only everyone spent $100 or $200 more. So systems like that are so beneficial that they are just an added expense. You could have this argument about tire warmers or anything else, that if you take it out of the equation for everyone's on the same playing field, and we've saved that chunk of money. Even outside of the cheating end of it, there's that component. And then listen, it's just not fun. As these develop more and more, what are we going to do? Get 10 guys standing on the driver's stand, hit a red button when the tone goes, and we all just watch our cars drive? Now I know that's low-hanging fruit and an easy one, but I'm taking an extreme example. But listen, gyros don't belong in racing. The cars are really good. They drive really well. They're easy to drive. Never been easier. We don't need gyros. And the guys in the lower mains that are struggling and would benefit from a gyro, they still shouldn't use a gyro. They should learn how to drive so they can slowly build up to the higher mains.
So here's I'm the one guy that says we probably should allow this stuff in racing and to a limited thing. I'm not saying everybody needs to go buy it, even though the price of it. This is like the argument back in the day that we can't have reverse on speed controls because it costs something. It's not a cost factor anymore. It's free. It's in every cheap radio, cheap car at this point. We're not traveling through time or space. It's very simple technology. The benefit is that the new person coming in and trying to race because he doesn't want to race slow, he's going to buy a fast car.
He doesn't want to race slow. It's tough. Sorry, go ahead. Finish. Go.
Can you yell at me when I'm done?
Yeah, I'm going to
help them get around the track. So
you don't need help getting around the track.
Yes, they do. The cars are fast as shit now.
Then slow the freaking car down and be in the G main for a little bit, like you're supposed to be.
We
You don't
tried
put a
slowing the
Band-Aid
car down
on
a
it to
million
make.
times. It never works.
What do you mean it never works? The RC system is sound. The main system we have right now is perfect.
Yeah,
I can do another side tangent.
Everybody wants to drive better and cry, and then they quit. So that's why we don't have.
But you're not actually driving better when you use a gyro. That's the thing. It's a Band-Aid. You're supposed to, if you're in the G main, you're supposed to be in the G main until you get up to the next main. And if you put a gyro in to get to the next main, what have you accomplished? And then given my argument, if everyone's running a gyro, that dude's or dudette is right back in the G main again anyways. So
here's the thing
we don't need driver aids, and the cars aren't too fast. And if the car's too fast for you, slow it down. You're not supposed to be competing for the A main when you just started. You're supposed to learn, like we all did.
But let's say that, and increasingly this won't happen because it's probably going to be a carpet track. But let's say you're starting racing, and the reason you really can't get around the track is because you don't have the right tires, the right setup, whatever. You don't know how to do that stuff yet. But it's not really because you can't drive the car, because no gyro can choose a good line for you. You can still drive straight into the wall with a gyro. It doesn't, help you get around the track fast in the sense of choosing good lines and being a good racer. So you can spend money to get different tires and to learn setup, all that stuff. Or can I just turn up the stability system that's already built into my car? Because again, it's not going to choose a line for me, but it'll let me have fun.
Listen, I'll rephrase what you just said for you. I'll rephrase what you just said for you. You can get into a hobby that you're not very good at the beginning. You can either buy a gyro and get real good quick, or you can learn the hobby. You can learn to get better.
This is coming from a guy that can drive. By the way, Jeff, I'll tell everybody you can't drive a car that pushes. So you don't have to worry about the
You were both talking. I didn't hear what you're saying.
Jeff, suppose that kid instead just says, you know what? I'm already $200 whole into this. I'm just going to quit and do this other thing.
They quit. I don't want that kid racing anyways. The kid that buys a $200 car and he's like, I didn't my first time out. I'm going to quit. Go.
Yeah, you want everybody racing. And as a track operator, you can say, you know what? We're going to let this kid
I don't want the kid that whines and cries when he isn't winning the A main on his first week out. Listen, this is a process.
I'm talking about a kid whose car won't even get around the track, no matter who drives it. It's just got a rock.
Come see me. I'll set it up for you. I'll set it up for you.
Everybody go race with Jeff. He's going to make you the best driver. Driver training.
But there's a Jeff at every track.
Decals.
We've all seen that kid there. You help the kid. There's nothing. Listen, first of all, I'll tell you right now. The cars are so good right now. Even shitty tires are good. Even crappy cars are good. Everything is so good right now. You can get around the track in a Rustler against B6s. You're not going to be in the A main. You're not going to win it. But all these fake scenarios we have, where like if the kid goes there with a 9-turn and he can't drive it, he needs a gyro. No, this doesn't happen.
You're using a very bad example, Jeff, because a lot of times, let's say they can't afford new tires. That gyro allowed, my first experience, a car to go around the track and clear a triple with tires that didn't work. You don't have to buy tires at that point. You can go around with slicks.
Well, I don't know how that benefits the industry as well then.
But if you get the tires that work, your car will still turn faster laps. I mean,
of course.
Yeah. So it's not like, that will destroy the timer. But I don't think it's really a problem for racing, is it? I mean, if anything,
it's not allowed in racing. Nobody, for the most part, nobody really thinks it should be allowed in racing. It's definitely.
Does anybody know if people are using it at this point? Because I've never seen a place check anymore.
Well, listen. After there's many big races where there's been controversies and questions, but there's ways to check. You can't. I mean, if you can find out. I mean, electronics are getting smaller and easier to hide, but you can.
I think with Spectrum, it's ABC. If you turn ABC off at the receiver, it blinks. It's like a blinking mode for your receiver.
No, but anyone that's cheating isn't using a conventional setup where it has a blink if it's on or off. Anyone who's going to cheat is going to go deeper than that.
Well, for ABC, I believe they set up that if you turn it off, it's blinking, so you can easily detect a car that has ABC.
Yeah, sure. It's like a blinking speed control. Sure.
Yeah.
Or if it's in the proper mode. Yeah.
I mean, but the mass market, of course, is for people who just want to enjoy driving a powerful RC car. And if you bought it, you should be able to enjoy the power that you bought. I don't. No one says like, "Hey, you just got a new Corvette C8. Turn off the traction control and the assistance."
Yeah, just burn out.
No, from a basher standpoint, it's the greatest thing ever invented. From a play standpoint, especially with these speedrun cars, the technology is sound and very welcome in the hobby. Just in my opinion, not in racing. In every other aspect, I love the idea of gyros. It's brilliant. Don't bring it to the racetrack. What did this guy say?
Your car is the second dumbest car ever made. I had to put
What's
that
he
up.
even talking about? What's he talking about?
Your stupid striker, dummy.
Oh, is he talking about my car? That car's amazing. Oh, I didn't even know what he's talking about. Oh, you're ridiculous, man. The striker's amazing.
By the way,
Hey,
Jeff
Feebolt. What's his name? Thibault? Hey, what's the dumbest one? I want to know what the dumbest one is then. What's the dumbest car?
Oh, where'd Pete go?
He got offended that someone insulted my striker.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to Theobald. Made Pete leave. He made him cry about his striker.
What he said, second dumbest car. What's the dumbest car? I need to know what the dumbest car is now.
Right. Probably the Futaba version.
Oh, that's hilarious. If that's what he. Oh, Sonic whatever.
Yeah, the second.
Oh no, what is the Sonic whatever?
The dumbest is the Rookie Rabbit, which is an actual name that Tamiya had for an RC car.
Rookie Rabbit.
I've
never heard of it. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on. Now that we all understand that.
Tebow. Sorry, Tebow.
And rewrite racing and limited gyro use in racing should be
no.
there.
No, because now you've opened up a huge difficulty in monitoring it. If you just allow just the tip, like you can't do this kind of arbitrary limit on what you're going to allow the gyro to do. That would be even harder to.
No, it's not. It's
to police.
Beginner class, you get to use a gyro.
But listen, we keep going to this crap with the reverse and gyros. We'll let the beginner guys do. Okay, I guess, but what's this conversation then? Yeah, you can let the beginner guys do whatever you want. When you're talking about racing, in the traditional sense, where the beginner guys are supposed to be in the low mains and the faster guys are supposed to be in the higher mains, it doesn't belong in any of that conventional racing we do. If you have a beginner class where you want them to have gyros, okay, fine, go ahead. It's not a conversation about racing then.
You don't need gyro.
What's that? What?
You don't need a gyro in your Mini Z racing with reverse?
No, I don't need a gyro in my Mini Z. But I would be faster if I had a gyro in my Mini Z, which is my point. So no, I don't like them for racing.
All right.
Anyway, if there's no new points, move on to this one.
This next one is Jeff.
One last thing on gyros. Does anyone recall the gyro system from the mid-90s that predated active vehicle control?
Well, there's one in a speed control. It was M-Tronics or something like that. I don't even know if it ever worked.
They tried to do ABS for a long time before steering control, but Kyosho actually had the active steering system, which was called ASS. That was the acronym, unfortunately. It was Kyosho Active Steering System. I believe it was just a helicopter gyro because those were new, I think, at the time. Applied to RC.
But the old helicopter gyros were actual gyros with moving parts.
Yeah.
Sonic Fighter.
That's the first of the first one. What's the Sonic? Was it the same thing as that one?
No, you're thinking of the FX10. If you're talking about you still talking about the Striker knockoff? It wasn't even. FX10.
All right. So this next title, I forget which way it is. This way. This one is Jeff's quote. 100% Jeff's quote. Because it came up.
It's not my quote. It's not my quote.
I didn't make it up. And if you're sponsored 50%, Jeff said, we all know these losers.
I didn't say that.
With an A at the end.
I did not say that. Anyways, let's get going. This is an interesting topic.
My clickbait title aside, we're talking about 50%.
Oh. I like how we're contemplating why my framed car is the second worst.
Could have went with the worst though. Whatever one had the smaller motor, didn't one of them have a dumb 380 in it.
I still enjoy the line. If you're gonna insult someone's picture, that's literally the best way to do it. Don't say it's the worst picture. Say it's the second worst. That's amazing. I like that, dude.
So again, this is Jeff's quote. This is what he says to everybody in Canada that has 50% sponsorship.
Well, everyone who wants a 50% sponsorship has a 50% sponsorship. Yeah, you don't have to apply for it. You just sign your name on, and you're on the team.
Your team 50%.
That's it.
Yeah, you're a contracted buyer. That's what you're doing. They may pretend to be picking through, but if some guy sent you a letter, hey, I want to run on your team and exclusively buy your products and wear the T-shirt and talk about it all the time and sign the contract and post the picture on Facebook, you think anyone's going to say no as a manufacturer? Oh, this guy's forced to buy off me always and can't run anything else and has to talk about me in a good way, in a good light, excitedly for the rest of their life? Yeah, of course.
that's really the only problem with 50% sponsorship is calling it a sponsorship. If it was called like if it's Acme RC products, and instead of saying you're 50% sponsored, it was like, yeah, I'm in the Acme RC Pro Driver Club.
Right. Yeah.
I get a 50% discount if you join. Same thing.
Listen, I'm not against it. It's good for the driver. It's good for the company. It's bad for the hobby. But no, a person who has a 50% ride is not a loser. They're not saving 50% because it's 50% off of retail, and no one sells at retail. But listen, they're saving money. People love it. People love wearing the shirt and telling, look, I run for X-Ray, I run for whoever. People love it, so that's fine. But it does hurt the hobby shops and the hobby and a little bit in general, because you're buying direct off of the manufacturer. You're taking out the distributor and the brick and mortar shops and the online shops.
Right, but here's the thing, and this kind of goes back to, I guess, would be almost the same as mail order, because they were saying 50% this destroys hobby shops. Yet 50%'s been around for like 20 years.
It's gotten a lot. So right, it seems to have gotten a lot more aggressive marketing on the manufacturer side to build to grow these teams. But yeah, it's been around for a long time. Sure. Yeah. And
it definitely hurts hobby shops, because I mean, Garen at Revelation actually was. I don't even know if he wanted me to say his name, but he's the one that complained about this the most, because he's really close to a couple of the distributors that do a lot of this. And his biggest gripe is that the sponsorship levels go below his cost, and that they should just run sponsorship through the hobby shop to promote people where they're racing. Because in the end, if you're 50% sponsored and your track isn't there anymore, what the hell does the sponsorship mean, right? I mean, if taking racing alone, not just if you're bashing or sponsored by, Red Cat or Traxxas to bash, your bash sponsored 50%, whatever it is. I mean, you're just discounting your own product, which is fine. But his comments were pretty straightforward and right. If you're going to ruin tracks, you got to be careful, because that's they're not making that much. I don't know too many rich RC track owners. The ones that may have money definitely didn't make it from RC track owning. I mean, there's probably a few examples, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing as mail order. Mail order didn't kill hobby shops. 50% sponsorship probably won't, to be honest with you, either, because racing, while it's a giant part of the hobby, isn't as giant as everybody complains about it.
Well, it's not a kill question. It hurts. It doesn't kill. It's not going to kill the hobby, but it hurts.
I mean, is it cutting an arm off? Is it what's your?
I don't know. Again, that's an arbitrary thing. Where do you want to end on the body? What you're cutting off? If the hobby shop isn't getting the full support, or not the full support, but that support, that's where the money's going elsewhere, then it hurts the shop. Now, I will say this: you mentioned hobby shops. You didn't mention this. This is one of the most underrated sponsors on the planet, in my opinion. Hobby shop sponsorships, in my opinion, are gold. A hobby shop can sponsor a good driver. You don't give it to everyone. Okay, I'm doing this right now, little guy. Give me 1 sec. A hobby shop sponsor can give you everything at cost. You can choose what brands you want to run, so you're running the best brand at the time. The cost to the hobby shop is going to be close to what a 50% ride would be from a manufacturer at the inflated prices anyways. The shop isn't losing any money themselves. The racer gets a huge benefit. The shop gets free marketing because they're not losing a dime. There's better ways to do sponsorship that now the hobby shop's not making money off those few people they do decide to do that type of sponsor, but they can do different levels too. Some of the slower or less personable guys get 10 or 20% off. The really fast guys get full cost and maybe some free tires once in a while. Anyway, that's an underrated sponsorship that does well for the industry, does well for the racer, does well for the hobby shop, does well for the track. Win, 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 win. It does well for the manufacturer because they're selling stuff through the. Anyways, yes, Pete.
What does the hobby shop get out of it, promotion-wise?
Free marketing.
They sponsor
free marketing. If
you go to different tracks and promote the hobby store, is that the idea?
Sure. Yeah. Right.
When I worked at a hobby shop, so I got a job at a hobby shop to get a discount. That's why I started working there, because I was racing every week and I'm spending all my money there. And I was in college and I was like, hey, can I get a job here? And that was 100% because I was like, well, if I'm spending all the money here, maybe I get a discount. And I was like 20%. So I guess a hobby shop can't hire everybody. You got to remember that, or sponsor everybody by giving their stuff away. Because in the end, everybody's got to make some money or we don't have anything. That's really just how it works, right? Profit isn't a bad word. Anybody that owns a business or is involved in profit anyway, that's not just there for customer service. understands that everybody's going to make some money to stay alive here.
Well, there are plenty of people who think that, like, you know what, if this RC car costs the hobby store $100, it should cost me $100. Like, no, dude, that's not how it works.
I didn't hear much of that because my kid was here, but just to be clear, when I was saying that, I wasn't arguing giving all racers or most racers this discount. I was just saying that if a hobby shop were to choose a couple of the really good guys to put your tag your name on it, that's a very viable option. That it is win-win for everyone.
OCRC sponsored the Cavalieri and everybody that ran there, so they had as a sponsor on the shirt. So if you're traveling, you know, back in the day when I raced a lot, we were going to every track in the area. You know, we raced. We didn't have you know, the nationals every weekend at our track. It was like, oh, there's a big race, we're driving to the next state. So there is a benefit to that of promoting. You know, like, there's a hobby shop somewhere, but
you're also uniquely in California where all the really fast drivers are.
This was when I was back in Connecticut where I didn't have that.
Oh, okay.
When I raced a lot and we traveled, I went to Enfield, I went to Massachusetts, we went to New York, we drove everywhere around. It wasn't, you know, we didn't have, and we don't have that many, to be honest with you, there's not that many tracks in California. It just seems that way because there's manufacturers here. There's only 3 or indoor 2 at this point, I think. Somebody will correct me. But there's not a million tracks out here. There's not a track on every corner.
If you had the option, you go to a hobby store, you have a place to have a track or an area to run RC cars. Would you build a track and have organized races, or would you rather have like an RC fun land with jumps and cool terrain and people just go out there and have fun with their vehicles on it?
Both.
Both. Yeah, I was gonna say, can I have both, or is it, you know, it's only
I'm a racer. I want the racetrack, but you do both, or you have a big track which races on Monday or Friday, whatever day you choose, maybe one weekend, and you turn it into a bash track for Sunday when all the slashes come out.
The only problem with that is if you have an off-road track, if you have bashers, they ruin the track. So you can't really have that because it's cost the labor to repair it to not be rutted out, blown out, and all that kind of stuff. It depends.
You can throw carpets down on your fancy jumps, and there are ways to get around that with little.
Can I punch your carpet in the face? Because carpet is not the solution. I don't
know why you're so anti-carpet. You could put something. You can protect the track. You're right. You're 100% right. You get guys nose diving and lawn darting into your clay. That's a pisser, but there's ways around that you anyway. Right.
Eric, were you around in Connecticut still for Extreme RC Raceway?
Yes.
Okay.
That was
Extreme. Extreme had this like kind of classic '80s, like, you know, carved out of the natural dirt track. There was no clay. It was just, this is legit, straight up, real off road, spiked tires worked kind of a track. But I remember going there on Thursday. I'm like, wow, there's like 30 guys here, which is a lot for this tiny little track. And they're all having a blast running everything around the track. And I was like, you guys should come on Sunday and race. And they were like, yeah, like we tried that once and it sucked. You know, we want to come here and just run our cars for like hours, not spend all day to run 4 times. Yeah. So that's what brought me the idea of like, well, why don't that's a dedicated, you know, fun zone, but you know, do more marketing around. We have the ultimate place for an RC car, which is a track. You can race on Sundays, but you can also come here these nights, and it's just open track to have fun and, you know,
like a skate park, more of a fun,
right?
Not a track, but a track with the entertainment built in, like excite bike jumps and backflip stuff.
The fact that you don't see a lot of those might indicate that it would be difficult to
maybe we just invented something.
Well, I want 10%. Well, I didn't say having to do with it. It was
Pete invented it, so go 10% Canadian. That's nothing.
I don't want to say that stupid line like if no one's done it, you know, it shouldn't be done. But this industry is mature. If there's not a lot of pay to play, especially when the skate parks are free and the baseball diamonds are free and the parks are free, you might have a hard time unless you're making like a specific crawler track. If you're not offering much more than just the Great Outdoors offers, it may be a difficult one to. Skate
parks are one of the most overrated places to run an RC car on Earth.
Yeah, of course they are. You're going to break your car very quickly. Yeah, but you could still mention excite bike jumps. If you want excite bike jumps, there's free ones everywhere.
If I had a hobby store that somehow had a backyard, I would definitely encircle it with a really beautiful scenic crawling trail, and in the middle you would have like basically a big oval, but with jumps on the straights, so that you could, you know, have a controlled area where you could do jumps and stuff. And the rules would be you can only go counterclockwise. And I'd have 2 kids who are paid just to marshal cars, and no one has to run around and chase their car. And like, I think people will be like, yeah, this is awesome because now I've got a place to run this cool Traxxas car I bought or whatever they've got, and I've got someone to chase it. And the jumps are here. You know, I don't have to set up in my cul-de-sac. It's on dirt and grass. I'm not breaking stuff constantly. but I'm breaking stuff up to keep the hobby store open. You know, I think that'd be a fun time. I would go to that. I'd be thrilled to go to a place that's like custom tailored for, you know, RC sized obstacles and jumps. And I've got a kid to chase the car. Fantastic. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And if every Friday you have a race on it, great. That's cool too. You know,
The only thing about scalar things to me, because that was a fad for a little bit, is that the scalar trailer stuff is really more about being outside. So when it's a fixed course and kind of the same thing, people don't show up after time.
This is outside. I'm describing an outdoor facility.
Yeah, but it's the variety and the scalar stuff. Yeah, they're wild horses. They're free spirits. They don't want to track. You want monster truck? Look at the monster truck events that had these like pop the balloon and then the dumb sorry, I just said dumb, but to me it's dumb.
Yeah.
The one where you race.
A lot of those were lame.
Race one way jump and then race back. And that's
no, but those are big. That's big.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So you could have definitely a big play area that.
What's the big event? I used to go to it for Extreme all the time and for Triple X.
NRCTPA.
Well, yeah. What did you say? What'd you call it?
The NRCTPA Worlds.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I went to that one too. That's Ohio. That's a big indoor one. I think you're talking about.
Yes.
Or one of them is big. You and I went to that. You and I, Derek.
We painted sucks on RC Car Action's banner.
Hey, we've never admitted that in public.
No, that was the first time.
No, but what's that one in North Carolina? Digger's Dungeon. The dungeon.
Yes, that was one of them.
They got 400 or 500 entries. I've been to them. It's awesome. Dennis Anderson's there. He builds a 30-foot bonfire at night. A bunch of dudes just playing with clodbusters and monster trucks and team. It was awesome. Those events are awesome.
Yeah. Well, let me just offer this. If you're a 50% sponsored guy, or you just are looking for the cheapest price possible, you buy everything online, cool. But if you are exploiting a track at your local hobby store, spend a little extra money when you can to support the local hobby store. I mean, I know you can get a can of paint for $7 online and it's, you know, $9 at the store. Just spend the extra $2 so they can keep the store open and you'll have a place to run your car. I mean, it's not hard to do, you know.
I just raced carpet off-road for a while. The track is shut down now, which sucks. It was a great track. But they just to get, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but just speaking to what Peter said, we go through a full set of Schumacher tires every weekend, every race. The track was harsh on tires. And I bought all my tires from the track. I work at a hobby store. I have an account at Schumacher. I can get all that stuff at cost and save a bundle of money. But I made sure.
Was this like 30 years ago?
No, Schumacher makes the best carpet tires, man. We joke about Schumacher, but they got the best tires for carpet off-road. Anyway, the point is yeah, you got to support your track. You got to do everything you can. We're all sitting there with whatever, $2,000, $5,000 in our toolboxes. If you don't have a track, what are you going to do with all your stuff? You're not going to go bash your race car. So yeah, you got to support the tracks for sure.
Yeah.
How are we going to give away this Proline pack? We're doing the count.
Oh yeah, it's 9:13. We got to wrap this up. This is my last show, by the way, everyone. I won't be here next week. So,
well, let's say if you're listening and you haven't commented yet, please make a comment so you'll appear on the board. You can just comment with a thumbs up or anything, and that way we'll know that you want to be counted amongst the people who want to win this prize. And we show the prize again, which is a Proline body wheel and tire combo with a new tough color body, which is molded in color. You just add the stickers that come with it, and it looks like this. Make me big.
Like that.
Why do we keep saying these things?
That's what you can win.
It's on our Facebook page. Everybody watching on YouTube, if you're on there, the comments don't show up until it's rendered and all that crap. So if you're going to enter to win, go on the Facebook and push smiley face, ugly face, be angry like the guy last week that we weren't specifically doing a whole hour show just talking to him. Just put something on there, and we're going to do a random number generator. Somebody got one of those?
It's online. Here, I'll do it.
Yellow, Mike, yellow pins were the tire of choice. I got to give a shout out to Jason Ashton and also a couple of the guys here. It's good having everyone out here. I didn't notice Ashton last week and say hello, so I wanted to say hello.
Yes, he did. He was making fun of you, stupid.
No, but I didn't notice until after that he was there, so I didn't say anything. So.
How many comments would you estimate we have?
Morgan, I'll give a shout out to Morgan as well.
On Facebook right now, we're up to 51.
51? Oh, I thought you meant people.
It could be 51 people, 51 comments.
So I'm at the random number generator. I've input a minimum number of 1.
Wait, hold on. Let's give some time. People are posting up. We're gonna wait 2 minutes. We're gonna talk about something for 2 minutes. Let's talk about Peter's. If you had one, did we do the desert? I feel like we did the desert island car. Did we talk about that? You had one car to use the rest of your life, unlimited parts.
I didn't hear this question.
One car, you're on a desert island, and the desert island magically has nitro or gas and your favorite kind of track, whatever you need. It's not about the best car to run in the sand because that's all there is. You're going to run one car for the rest of your life. You're all alone. Planet Earth has been depopulated. It's just you and one RC car and the perfect place to run it. What would you pick?
8-scale nitro buggy.
You're really going to run nitro.
Yeah,
it's the end of the world.
8-scale, all the classes are great. 8-scale nitro buggies are the best. Come on, we all know that.
Do you have a name? Okay, I thought about this. Of all the stuff I've driven, I'm gonna go with the X-Max on whatever giant batteries. So here's the thing: it's Magic Unicorn, doesn't blow up, right?
Yeah, you got parts. You said you got it. Yeah, don't worry about anything.
So like 8S,
all that stuff.
An 8S X-Max. Pretty impressive.
With the TSM.
The knob in the middle.
Well,
that's what I mean by.
That's my driver skills right in the middle these days. It used to be no knob. Now I got some knob on there.
What is happening tonight?
But that's your driver aid, your knob control.
Yeah, I understand your knob control.
Copyright.
What do you got, Pete? What's your deserted island?
Honestly, I don't want to seem like a fanboy here, but I would go with not the X Max, but the Max, just to like that size better. The really giant stuff, I know that giant should be like even more awesome, but I really like the size of the Max, and it does all those things.
You're on a desert island. Are you on a small island?
I feel like I'm still going to want to work on it, and I like working on that size vehicle. I think the Max is like the perfect all-around do-everything truck. And if you can't afford the Max, if you just get like a Stampede 4x4 or a Slash 4x4, also just the does it all kind of fun vehicle.
All right, we're up to
Can we get this out here?
What's that?
Peter is paid by Traxxas to be here. Let's just get that out so that everyone fully understands. Peter's on Traxxas payroll.
Your
Every
hat's
time he recommends Traxxas or talks about Traxxas.
Your hat's in the mail.
I joke. He's not on payroll.
I have plenty of fair. I love to build the Tamiya kit. Kyosho models, some of my absolute all-time favorites. But yeah, when it comes to like ready to run stuff, I mean, there's a reason Traxxas sells so many cars and trucks. They do a fantastic job of just nailing that whole fun, powerful RC experience. I mean, it's not a secret.
I'm going to interrupt this and talk about something since they sponsored this. What is your favorite Proline tire of all time? Because I have one.
Oh.
You want me to go first?
Crime Fighter.
Ah, you fucker. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, Crime Fighter or Badlands. I'll say Crime Fighter for racing, Badlands for Bash. Crime Fighter was a good tire.
When it was the only tire to use, that was the best time in the race day scale.
Yeah. Bow ties if you need forward grip and Crime Fighters for a bit of forward and mostly side. Yeah. Good tire.
Pete?
What do you got, Pete? What's your favorite Proline tire? Is your favorite Proline tire a Traxxas tire? Do we have a winner? It's 9:19 right now. Do we have a winner?
We got all right. I'm going to cut it off at 6:20. That's the amount of comments. I'm going to give Pete the number of how many comments that I'm seeing on Facebook. Again, if you're on YouTube, you gotta watch us both simultaneous. It's like you can see us in 3D. If you put one eye on each
we
feed.
need to fix that for the next prize, so that the
How am I going to fix YouTube?
Well, no,
I'll get on that. Let me dial up YouTube.
No, we need to fix our method of saying.
We'll amend the next contest to say it's only for Facebook viewers. Watch on Facebook if you want.
All right.
We have to reconfigure things so that the prize is awarded. If you want to do it this way, we could say, you know what? When the new episode comes out, we'll announce the winner from the previous episode. It's always staggered by one.
That's a good idea. That's good. Because then everyone can be included, and then you force all 20 people that watch this to come back.
I'm just doing some production value here at the end.
Yeah. We need to hire a new producer.
I don't want to be the big head. All right, 6:20. We have 80 comments. So random number generator. Hey, here's the clarifier too. If you don't live in the U.S. and Canada, I ain't shipping you shit. because it's going to cost like $400. So
which, by the way, thank you for sending the hat. I noticed that it turned into an $80 hat after shipping.
Yeah, see, I don't even want to send a hat to Canada, but if it's a foreign winner, I'll send you $20 on PayPal because the shipping on that's Proline's paying the shipping, so I don't want to screw them the shipping body.
Proline's awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and generate this. Okay, I've got a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 85.
You already did it. I saw 6 there.
No, I didn't generate it yet.
Oh.
All right, I've generated the number. The number is 16.
All right, now we got to count who is the 16th comment. Or you guys talk while I count.
The stupidest dead air ever.
Come up with something else. Todd, what's your favorite candy bar?
Oh, is that what someone's asking?
No.
Snickers,
you guys can look at the comments. I'm going to try to count these. Where the hell are all the comments?
Actually, the best
I'm watching
candy
you guys
bar
naked while smearing mayo across my buff pirate chest. I guess Joe wins.
Kinder, makers of the Kinder Egg, have a excellent new candy bar out. You should try that one.
So listen, I want to say something quick. I had an aside I wanted to add earlier when we were talking about maybe even 50% sponsorship. It's a story that angers me with one of my local tracks. I was looking at results last year from a track, which I won't mention. Lots of tracks do it. There was 8 heats and 8 A mains. Everyone had their own class. Everyone got their ribbon or their trophy. That bothers me. I liked it back in the day when it was 1 or 2 classes and 8 or 10 heats, and everyone got to race together, and it was okay to be in the B or the C or the D main. Now everyone wants to win. They'll change classes if they're losing, or just keep adding classes. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know if that's a topic for the future, but that bothers me in the industry right now.
What A main were you in?
I wasn't racing. I was looking up the results to see. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. There was 8 heats and 8 A mains.
They were all in the same class?
No, that's what I'm saying. There was 8 classes. There's like 12 scale stock, a touring car rubber, touring car foam, USGT. In other words, they still had enough entries to fill 8 heats, but everyone got their own. Everyone was in their own class of racing and their own A main. Whereas usually it would be like 12 scale and touring car, and you got A, B, C, D for each. Now everyone is in an A main. You look confused.
Well, so you're saying that there could be
too many classes. There's too many classes.
Okay, so you're not saying there were 20 guys racing modified 12 scale, and yet somehow there were 2 A mains, and a bunch of guys who should have.
No, that's what I'm saying. There was like 8 guys in each class, so you could only have an A main. There wasn't enough racers in each class. There was enough total racers if they had 2 classes to have multiple heats, multiple mains, but everyone had split themselves up so well so that there was only 6 to 8 drivers in each class. So every class had only an A main.
Was that the objective, or was it just so happened that some guys on the race?
That's a direction a lot of this hobby has gone in, especially in on-road where there's so many different classes. Now, big races, it's great. When you have 500 entries, that's not a big deal. But when we used to race at my carpet off-road track to get Derek angry, there was 2-wheel and 4-wheel. That's it. If 50 people showed up, which they didn't, but if 50 people showed up, you had 25 guys in each class, and then you're actually trying to get in the A main. You're actually trying to improve every week. You're racing with your skill level.
Do you think the driver's objective was to get their own A main, or that it just so happened?
I don't think everyone got together and made sure that they were all in different classes, but I certainly know a number of people that, if you can't win in one class, you'll go buy a different car, and then you're winning in that one because there's less competitive people. I'm not saying everyone does that, but this didn't used to be a thing. My RC racing career, not that it's a career, had always been in the types of classes where.
Were you 50% sponsored, loser? I've
never been 50% sponsored. I've had a lot of hobby shop sponsors, which
you weren't even good enough for 50%.
No, it's not that I wasn't good enough. It's that I didn't send a letter so they could say yes. I've worked at a hobby shop all my life. I've always had 50% sponsorship in whatever brand I wanted. I get everything. It costs always.
Do you have a winner? And once again, winner, if you are not a citizen of the United States, then or your shipping address isn't, we can't help you out.
I'm having some technical difficulties with Facebook of trying to get to see all the comments.
Do you have a winner? And once again, winner, if you are not a citizen of the United States, then or your shipping address isn't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Can you look at it? I don't see it. Technical difficulties.
Oh, I think I know who it is. But I think he's
Better
in
not be
France.
Joe. Hey, Joe, if you won, you ain't getting shit.
No, it's not Joe. If I count down 16, I get to 837, and I think I get to La Stunt Mania RC, which sounds French.
Well, yeah. Hello, I am French. So
Well, he could be from Quebec. That's Canada.
Even worse.
Canadians. Canadians are terrible people.
I don't even see all the comments.
Oh, Rob. I wanted to give a shout out to Rob. I think Rob is.
Where did you count 16? On Facebook or on this?
On this. What are we on here?
I mean, you got to go
is
to
this
Facebook.
YouTube I'm on?
Huh?
What's the comments I can see?
I don't know.
On this.
That's why I said Facebook.
On this RC bet, where I see myself, the comments to my right, it says private chat and live comments. Is that Facebook or YouTube?
there's an icon, Jeff. There's a little F in Facebook. There's a little play button if it's YouTube.
Oh, they're both here. Oh, I get it now. Oh,
no, okay. Which means that eliminated the problem of only Facebook.
So then just change the rules right now. It doesn't matter YouTube, Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah, but the first comment I see is at 6:11, and there was a comment.
We're not responsible for technical glitches of the internet.
We need to not be
just
doing
count.
this.
Just count down from the top of the SteamYard comments, and wherever you land is where you land.
All right, we're going to announce the winner on Facebook because I can't find it. Won't go past 11.
Yeah, we don't need to do this live. This is a cluster.
We'll do it live.
It's been almost an hour. This is ridiculous.
No, we're just going to bicker about who's freaking 16. Hey, so thank you, Proline, for sending this to whoever number 16. It's 16, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Random number 16. If you're on Facebook and you counted the 16th comment, you're the winner, except if you're French or French Canadian or whatever. We'll try to.
I'm being made fun of by my millennial media friend here.
Randomization. Don't get hung up on it. It's just
next week it's going to be who posts a picture or something. They get the most likes. It'll be easier. But we're not picking you, John Schmucklick, Nick, unless you're 16. But
this show needs to end. This show needs to freaking end.
Hey, with that,
how do we end this show?
I got a way to end it.